Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RGL, where we have got another amazing match on our hands. It's going to be Globalclan versus Froyotech. My name's TC Mano. I am joined by Alto in the booth tonight, and then we've also got the amazing Dolphin on production, as always. And first off, Alto, great to cast with you. I think this may be the first time I've casted with you, but if you don't know, Alto is an amazing Highlander caster. Check out Monday Highlander Nights, where you can often see him and someone else looking at all the insane 9v9 action going on. But we got Froyotech, we got Globalclan. How are you doing tonight, and what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Thank you for the HL plug. Last night's match was just so insane that I couldn't stay away. Needed to cast something else as soon as possible. Get in on some sixes action. I mean, taking a look just at the teams, right? You know, we've both been around long enough. It's Froyotech. You know who's going to be the favorites here. You know, I'm looking at the roster on Globalclan. You know, I'd like to see. It looks like we're gonna have Quacks, Dingo both come in, and Shamu as well, some names I'm familiar with as we go live here, that, I'm looking to hopefully maybe have some big games right now, but, money's got to be on the house in this one.
I definitely agree. Money will probably be on Froyotech, so if that's who you bet on, you're going to be trying to be one of the bandits tonight and see Froyotech goes to victory. But we are live on the first mid, and it seems like no one's gone for any type of aggressive soldier bomb immediately, at least right off the bat. Both teams just trying to feel each other out. Habib is going to be on demo tonight. He was on soldier, but because Logan isn't here, he's going to be stepping on the demo. But it's going to be the explosiveness from Froyotech that you kind of highlighted. Patty, Laz, all the projectile classes from Froyotech just immediately opening things up. That was almost an air shot onto Laz from Taz, but not able to make it work. And Dank is just trying to run back to spawn as a soldier bombs in. Patty, very weak. Dank gets him with the arrow. So kind of catches Patty out a little bit for chasing that deeply. But even with that pick, a very good opening mid for Froyotech.
Absolutely, that really slow play that you highlighted there just meant that, Froyo's slight adds in DM are going to add up over time. Habib already finding a pick onto Shamu with that lock and load. Dank's escape means he was able to get out with that Uber, which is kind of the only silver lining. But the 6v5 Froyo's already starting to push in right now, trying to get some damage in, maybe see if they can soften up those numbers, get a frag, not fully committing. And a lot of pressure just being put out. All of Globalclan being forced back to all circles to spawn. And Laz jumps in, he's going to go down.
Oh, and Patty as well is also going to go down, but they have been able to successfully complete their mission. They have gotten the Uber forced out from Dank, and Hubert the fish has been able to swim out to safety. They are 3 down, and you can see Globalclan starting to peak a little bit. Shamu has committed through cheese, so that is going to be something that Froyotech have to keep their eyes on, as he is going to try and go for the sack play onto Hubert. Has an opportunity to get some damage, does manage to get the force out, and he is going to go down. Jingo does go down, aka Junie from Spy Kid, so that's going to be, there's no demo to hold these doorways, and Froyotech could still try and push in off the dry ad and the player ad, with Laz finding another on the Quacks.
Yeah, the sack was great, but they may have lost too many numbers in the process. All of Froyo closing in on that point, and it's not going to be close. First point of the match heading over to Froyo. Shamu getting in, getting that Uber force, felt like maybe was a sign of life from Globalclan, but they just bled too many on the way out. And Froyo was able to just work those numbers in. I mean, coming into this next mid here, I think you gotta hope that Globalclan's gonna try something a little bit more aggressive, right? Feels like that passive mid really didn't work for them. Froyo was just able to stack up the damage, and eventually they hit some kind of invisible threshold. They knew they could just walk across the point and they'd win all the fights. Looks like Shamu's gonna get a little bit aggressive here coming in on this mid, but no jumps immediately again.
And no jumps immediately, actually, as we say that Laz does go in, gets a lot of damage onto Dank, and Patty follows it up with a great rocket. So they've been able to get 2 very important to both Dingo and the medic down, but everyone else on Globalclan still alive. Taz gets onto Hubert the fish, and it's only going to be Habib, the sole player for Froyotech remaining, and he's just going to back up. He's going to put some sticky traps up over by Saw and maybe try and catch out a soldier bombing forward, but a much better mid for Globalclan. They did lose probably the 2 more most important classes, but they were able to get the point, and because they were able to get onto Hubert, going to be even Ubers.
And I mean, I want to give some props to Dank there as well, because Froyo clearly sold out that entire mid to try and get the med pick. Dank did go down, but dodged, I want to say, the first 2 rockets coming across from Laz, which bought a lot of time, made everyone else on Froyo have to just spend that much more time, get that much deeper, open them up to get counterfragged, so that by the time Dank did eventually go down, Globalclan had enough numbers to really convert there.
Oh my god, we already have our first off-class. I mean, we probably had an off-class on
like
last,
Highlander.
I kind of forgot. It is just like Highlander. I mean, maybe you're feeling at home, Alto, but if you haven't noticed on stream, Soar is up on Spy, and he's just been able... Exactly. Hey, listen, it's all the Highlander strats, you know. Who says you can't take something from 9v9, as we do have Quacks coming in, maybe for the distraction play, as Sword does decloak, has an opportunity, but not able to get onto Hubert, and that is going to be the Spy play thwarted.
Yep, doubt that we're going to see Sword come back up on that after really not too great of a showing on that, as Froyo starting to pressure into mid right now. Laz getting in deep, gonna get in, but go down. Quack's gonna be the trade. Dingo picking up Patty as well, which means that now we've got Soar coming back in on Scout. Numbers are gonna be in favor of Globalclan right here. They're gonna successfully force Froyo back into second, and now they're moving over towards yard side, looking to get aggressive with this Uber.
Yeah, they are Taz going in for a very big bomb, get some good damage onto Hubert, and is able to get the force. Now, can they make the same mistake as last time? They do lose another in Soar, so not going to be ideal for Globalclan. That is their their flank scout down, but they still have Shamu up, so they can still take this Uber at a moment's notice. You see Froyotech trying to pick these doorways. If there's maybe some type of opportunity for them to get in, but it's kind of gone and dusted, so they're just going to back up, get onto bridge. They're going to be at a bit of disadvantage, but the question here is Globalclan, do they use this Uber to take the second point? And if they do use the Uber, are they able to get enough picks with it to justify it?
And I know they don't just want to go in, I think, on the full 6v6. They'd like to get some more pressure, but Hubert's building well, already back up to 7, and it looks like they're going to drop out of that window. They're going to have to eventually. Laz and Dingo trade out. Blank going to be going down next, though. Numbers in favor of Globalclan. Walking forward, the sticky trap from Habib drops Dank, and that's going to have to sound the retreat right there. Shamu may be hoping he could finish off that cap, but I didn't see quite where those stickies were, but they are massive. The soldiers now coming in, trying to get the sack. Will get the Uber out of Hubert, so not a worst case scenario, but tragedy strikes Globalclan right there.
That is very, very tragic. Globalclan are thinking about trying to repush this because they still have control of mid. They do have the faster spawners, but with that demo being up, Habib just immediately locking down all those doorways, making it so difficult for Globalclan to try and re-aggress. They're still doing it, but their demo might be caught out, just barely being able to get out to safety. Is going to be Dingo. Banny is going to be able to help take down Taz over and Saw last, getting the credit for that one. And now with player advantage, they do have a little bit of Uber advantage, but they don't have just quite yet. Froyotech might just try and take this in as a dry fight.
Yeah, they have the number at Blank has great position, already up on the point. Gonna gank Soar, will take him out eventually. Dingo and Shamu going down as well. Dank running for his life out from lower, but Blank smells blood in the water. That Solemn Vow's not going to save him, as he's gonna start getting collapsing on it. Yet Patty with the nail in the coffin takes Dank out. Hubert already back on full Uber as well, in on last. Blank and Patty, or just Blank, really got to finish up that cap. They're already basically on the last point right as it opens with Uber. Not a great sign for Globalclan. Soar going to go down. This Uber's going to fade once they start farming these frags. We're going to be looking at 2-0 for Froyotech.
Yep, it is going to be 2-0 as they just finally get the last kill, and they're able to stand on the point for free. Really great stuff from Froyotech, but you gotta be a little bit heartbroken for Globalclan because it was looking so good. They were able to take second, get some good favorable trades, but just that sticky trap from Habib. And that's the thing about Froyotech, even if you're in a really good position to win, they've just got the players on the team that can instantly flip the script in a moment, and Habib is definitely one of those guys on demo. He is so powerful, and if your Globalclan, it's just gonna hurt, but you have to take that on your chin, go in onto the next mid. And last time they had a really good mid, or a much better mid than last time. Hubert actually going to be taking a lot of damage, going to have to back up, get the pack over and Saw. That's going to be the call for the initiation from Globalclan. You've seen Quacks bombing in, getting some good damage onto Habib, not enough to find the kill. Habib is so weak. Same thing with Hubert, all backed by Saw, but no one on Globalclan is going to be able to be close enough to finish them off. Taz just going away for the fade bomb. Soar is weak over and lower, and with that one pick, it's going to be enough for Froyotech to win mid.
Yeah, it felt like they might have been cooking a little bit when they got all that damage onto Huber, but just unable to convert that kill onto Habib means that, you know, the soldier losing his life is going to put things back in favor of Froyo. Some, you know, fights going on in yard. Getting in deep is Soar. May manage to escape his life, but Laz in the backline assassinates Taz. Soar not going to make it out after all. Uber popped out from Dank, but maybe a little bit too late. Going to go in and just blow up Patty and Shamu, but Uber comes out afterwards, way better on the side of Froyo. Dank going to be forced back into Laz, still healing, so we'll have that slightest of ads, but not the defense they were looking for here on side.
No, not the defense at all, and that's going to be really unfortunate for them because now they're at risk of being down 3-0, and of course we do have continuous overtime, so it's not like time is against them, but it's just always hard to get yourself back into the game, and especially when you're down 3-0, you haven't gone around on the board yet. They haven't really been able to even sniff out Froyotech's last. The closest they've gotten is just kind of pushing into second, so now they're on their own last for the third time. Luckily, it is going to be basically even Ubers. They do have very slim ad, like you said, but I doubt they're going to do anything with it, as Laz does bomb in. Same thing with Patty. Tried to get in. They're going for the two-man. Not able to make anything work. Blank has also committed, so it's going to be the three-man for Froyotech and Globalclan. Any other team, I'd say they don't push out, but knowing Shamu, he might just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you did get 3 off of that, and it's Froyo, you know, if not now, then when? And in they go. Quack's going to be jumping forward, getting some pressure off the bat, forcing them back out into yard. Uber going to come out from Hubert. Dank has Uber milking quite a long time. They're going to drop Taz and Vanny, running into last, trying for the back tap. He might just get it. It's going to be on Shamu with a 1v1. Can he finish him off? Will finally get that pistol kill as Dank is sent scattered, having into last. Blank as well going to go down. So managed to not get that cap for Globalclan, but not able to get second quite either. The kill on Hubert though will go a long way, as Dank's gonna be sitting on 25, almost 30 at it, it'll look like.
That's going to be a very, very late death from Habib, and he's going to be denied the forward spawn. He's going to be sent all the way to second, so if Globalclan wants to immediately push onto middle, there's going to be no sticky traps to deny them. You see Froyotech playing very, very close to these doorways, trying to make it a lot more dangerous for Globalclan to just get the space. They are going to be trying to bust through, though. They immediately get the pick onto Taz. That's going to be good for Froyotech. Quacks has committed, might be caught out a little bit, is going to be able to make his way back into Saw, and it seems like Globalclan, with that one pick, they got a lot of damage onto the Froyotech soldiers, but not enough to get a pick of their own, and Froyotech immediately taking that one pick and getting so much space in yard.
Yep, Dank though with Uber uses immediately right as they get. They're going to chase Patty out, moving now into mid. Laz is going to be next. Vanny getting in deep, going to dance for his life, makes it out, but Blank goes down. It's a 6v3. This mid going to be going in favor of Globalclan. The question though is that with Hubert having ad, will they be able to hold on to it?
They should be able to hold on to it for a little bit. Unfortunate for Froyotech that Globalclan capped up the mid, so their spawners are going to take a little bit longer to get up there, but not long enough for Globalclan to get their own Uber. So still going to be advantage for Froyotech. I don't think we noticed, but we've seen a lot of lock and load shenanigans, but Dingo is also on the quickie bomb, so I don't know if that's maybe been a little bit of a annoyance for Habib, who is going to be bombing in and immediately gets onto Dingo. So if it was an annoyance, we'll never know, as he immediately takes out his demo man competition. But important for Globalclan, they have a back cap going on. It's going to be 3 times on back, and Froyotech, they have to go back to this last. Immediately bombing in is going to be Taz, gets him with the nice air shot. Soar as well is going to be able to live behind Taz, just going to be bombing around and also manages to live behind. So Froyotech in complete disarray at the moment. Soar finds one onto Banny. This is just so much space for Globalclan. They're walking forward. They're at Uber advantage as well, so they can just rip this anytime they want to, and I don't think they're going to need to. They might even find Hubert. No, Blank going to be able to keep his medic alive, but might fall over in lower. Actually, no, it's going to be able to get on the Quacks, and that's going to slow Globalclan down, but still, amazing initiating, flank plays from Globalclan, and catching Froyotech out.
Yeah, and I mean, all the credit there to Taz and Soar getting behind, causing such a havoc, getting those kills, and then Soar just two-shotting Vanny in lobby like he's MGEing him on Badlands mid. Just absolutely put him in the dirt right there, and it's able to keep the momentum going. The Ubers are going to even out here, but if you're Globalclan, you know, you have an opportunity to get last here. Soar on the off class comes in, already going to get a pick onto Blank. Vanny now on Sniper as well, and they'll try to even things out. You know, but I think Globalclan, they really want to make sure this push is perfect. You don't get too many chances to maybe grab rounds off of Froyo here. You don't want to just blow it because you think you and Uberad's going to be enough. As have to see Shamu. I saw Shamu getting a deep thought when they run into the spy we missed. But no, just the sniper still. Banny now switching off onto Engineer Blank, the one going to be on sniper.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of classic for Banny to be on Engineer. It's a class he loves to play on last, which typically, I mean, not... Oh, my sword onto Habib, gets immediately taken, he gets on a Hubert! Sword! Absolutely insanity! And now this is going to be the call. They're just going to instantly rip this Uber while the confusion and disarray is still here on Froyotech. Flank gets caught out in the spawn door. Banny actually kind of going huge with the flank. This might still be holdable for Froyotech, but Patty has to have a nuclear bomb. Does go into so much damage, but not enough to get the kill. And Soar put that wide open for his team with 2 quick shots onto the demo and the medic. If there's 2 shots you want to hit, Alto, it's those.
Absolutely, yeah. You really cannot ask for more. That off-class really coming up huge. I mean, 3 kills on the sniper walking in, and I mean, the Uber drop is going to be what it takes in order to get that in. But Globalclan able to do that, get the score down to 2-1, and I mean, a great spot for them. We've seen them have success on these mids as well. They can pull it off, in a world where we're looking at a tie game in not too long.
Yeah, it could happen even depending on this mid if they're able to mid to last Froyotech, which is always hard to do regardless of how the last round went, as Laz goes in, not able to find anything, but he's going to be a soldier trade with Taz and Sword going down, so it's going to be very big player advantage for Froyotech, and they're going to be able to capture up the mid. Only 3 up for Globalclan, but Demo, Quacks, and Dank, and they're just going to back up basically all the way into lobby, and they might be once again on their last, but I mean, the round that they won last time, Alto, they were in this very same position, and they were able to whittle Froyotech back to their own last, so they're going to be thinking to themselves, hey, if we did it once before, who's to say we can't do it again?
I'm surprised to see no snipers really at this point on either side, so we're going to be on the heavy instead. Thought he might have been feeling it after that push, but commits to that 300 HP health sink as Laz trying to get a little bit aggressive in from lower, just really trying to scope out this defense, see if they can push some buttons in the right spot, find themselves a pick. But Globalclan know that, they have a leg in this game. They do not want to give up that, or send it back to a 2-point lead for Froyo. But Taz caught out by the shutter. Gonna have to see what Froyo decides to do on that, if they're just feeling it enough to push in.
They are. Laz is going to go in, kind of meets the heavy a little bit, is going to be taken down, but Patty using that distraction, and here's another scout playing just over on the high ground, is going to be able to take down Sora, and Froyotech are going to get aggressive with that 1-player advantage, but with Blank going down, now they are going to firmly get out of there. Habib just staying in a little bit, maybe see if he can hit something with the lock and load pipe, but Shamu is wrapping around. They don't know, but he misses the wrong door. Hubert, he goes down super weak. He is going to have to use Uber. Both medics do.
But Dank in the meantime was alone in left lobby shooting arrows. Just gets ganked by a scout, forced to use alone, not even on anyone. I don't know if that was a brain fart or just a miscommunication or what on the side of Globalclan, but after the great job to get Hubert's Uber, it's a little bit disappointing that they don't have any ads to work off. And Patty in deep though, Taz going to be the first one down. He's going to be the trade. Lots of players whirling around each other as the cap time starts to come in. But Frags, it's going to be 2v2 right now. Danny going to be the only one standing into Shamu and a medic. Going to get the kill onto Dank before going down. So 11 dead. Shamu, the sole survivor, going to be running out, capping up second.
The control point is
yeah, and that's going to be a lot better for Froyotech because they're going to be very emboldened to just immediately repush. They're going to have heals a lot quicker. They're also going to have Uber advantage, and Globalclan, they can't even capture up second, so that's going to be 20% Uber advantage for Froyotech. Actually, maybe a little bit like 30, depending on how well Globalclan are going to be building here. In Froyotech, they might just rip it as soon as they get it. They've been having a little bit of trouble, uncharacteristically, at breaking into this lasso. They might just say, hey, we got a round to spare. We can just immediately go in. There's a minute 30 left on the round timer before a round reset. Why not just try and go for a very slim Uber advantage push? Doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. We just reset on mid.
Exactly. Sora this time switch trying the engineer instead of the heavy. Maybe thinking that off class gonna have a little bit more. Like as the Uber comes out of shutter, gun's gonna be gone instantly, but that's what you got it for. Everyone in Globalclan trying to just kite this out, get killed, but the cap time is already so close. Kills trading back and forth on point, numbers in favor of Froyo. Dank's alive with 99! not able to get that Uber, and by 1%, Froyo's able to take a red carpet right into last.
That is so unfortunate for Globalclan, but you know, heads up play from Froyotech. They knew it was Slimad. They were able to get in. It was looking a bit dicey because they kind of dawdled a little bit. I think Banny got flashed when he was trying to stay in on the point, but they're able to close it up and make it a 3-1 game. But these mids back and forth so far, but necessarily the winner of it hasn't been indicative of who has won the round. So even if Globalclan do lose it, we've seen they have a little bit of fight in them to try and push their way back as Laz immediately goes in for another deep bomb onto Dank, but not finding any success. Soar finds one on Habib, and it seems like everyone at Froyotech is just getting mulched. It's only going to be Hubert and Banny, the last two Froyo members alive, and they're just going to have to do what Globalclan did last time and just completely give up second, head back onto last. Now it's going to be Globalclan's opportunity to try and push in and make this a 3-2 game.
Yep, and I mean, maybe a bit of a teachable moment here. We've seen 3 separate times in this game. One team fully decided to just sell out, try and get the other team's medic. In all of those cases, they lost mid, and in 2 of them, they didn't even manage to kill the medic that they dove so deep for. So it just goes to show you that, you know, yeah, it's great to be able to yell to your team, "Med down!" but not exactly the kill you necessarily need to be prioritizing here on mid, as once again the mid goes over to Globalclan off of Froyo, maybe selling out a little too hard, trying to get Dank.
Yeah, it was a bit interesting how Froyotech did it because it seemed like they're kind of going in one by one as Globalclan try and pressure the shorter door, and they get absolutely stuffed because of it. And Globalclan have to use their Uber in lobby. It's really just a solo onto Dingo. I mean, he does find one, but I don't think he's going to find anyone else. He's just jumping around right now, kind of keeping Froyotech on their toes. He eventually gets taken down in lobby. Has someone seen this demo as he jumps around? But Shamu tries to go for the back up. Banny is there waiting for him, and Shamu might be able to get out, dodges the sticky, and is going to be able to meet back up with his team, and that's going to be enough for them to try and pressure and see if they can get the force on the Hubert.
Yep, coming in from orbit, cracks, yep, Uber popped preemptively, didn't even want to get synced on, so Uber will come out, but it's going to get them Globalclan chased back, likely out of mid, still down a number, not great health either. Laz coming in deep, getting behind Taz and Habib, going to trade, but Taz now in on Dank, launching him forward. Numbers aren't there to follow up, though, thanks to Soar, who's way deep, almost got the back half a second off. Going to draw all of that aggro back, and is now waiting on last by trying to gank someone as they come up. But great back capping just performances we've seen from Globalclan now multiple times, giving them a lot of free territory.
Yeah, that basically just saved Globalclan mid and got them second as well, so Froyotech gonna be feeling very, very foolish after that, just not kind of watching those doorways, and it's gonna be uber advantage for Globalclan as well. They're immediately getting into position, working their way. Seems like it's gonna be a lower Uber. Shamu takes it in. You're gonna see the bombing Dingo going all the way to the left shutter door. They haven't found anyone just quite yet. They might probably find Laz as he bombs over towards the point. Is gonna be trading out with Shamu, who's tried to play it, so okay for Froyotech, especially a lot better after getting Soar. So now Globalclan, they have to commit a lot earlier to just pushing out without that scout to kind of keep their medic up and get him out to safety quickly. Taz tries to go for the bomb on bridge. There's no one there, so he just backs up, and Froyotech managing to hold on to their last once more.
Yeah, Globalclan felt a little bit more tactical at how they were looking at their ads into last before. Not just, you know, taking it in 6v6. This time they do it. Most of the Uber gets spent just closing the ground and killing the gun. But Soar in the forwards on Sniper, gonna see if he can find anything. Nope. Going to retreat in. Still not quite giving it up, but likely gonna be forced to backspawn now. As Froyo comes into mid, will cap that up, no problem. Hubert though did have to use, so add back in favor of Dank. Taz getting a little frisky on the flank right here. If he's going to be able to find something. I don't think he's been spotted yet.
He hasn't, and yeah, now in a little bit of a scuffle with Blank and Laz, and Laz is going to win that. Seems like Froyotech trying to do the exact same thing that Globalclan did, shove the flank. They're able to get one Soar. Very weak, is not going to be able to take down Laz. Laz trades out, so it's going to be okay. Even trade across the board for the meantime. But Froyotech, they want to try and stay on the point and fight with it, but Patty might be disconnected. Bombs and does take down Dingo. Is going to draw everyone on Globalclan back over into Saw. Gets the pack to stay alive for a lot longer. Shamu is eventually going to be able to take him down. And the thing is, the longer this fight goes, the better it is for Froyotech, because they get closer to Uber, and also they have the faster respawn. As you can see, 2-3 coming up from Froyotech almost immediately in Globalclan. Now the respawners just finally get into position, so Froyotech holding on to mid, and they already trying to get in position to push second.
Yep, Taz getting levitated up by window, can't quite make it in. Going to land, get as much damage out as he can before he goes down, but no kills to be converted. Uber's going to likely come out. Yep, Dank gets hit low, both meds low, but the kills all going in favor of Globalclan. Great Rockets out of Quacks, and they're just trying to body block Hubert. He's going to make it out into mid, but he's alone, not healing. Both scouts now are behind, looking to potentially cause havoc. Blank, maybe. I'm not sure if he's going to try to assassinate someone, get a pack or back cap. But the mid cap's going through. They know he's behind Banny too, and it looks like Banny's gonna be the first one to get discovered. Can he get the trade out? No one's gonna die, but everyone's gonna live. Taz though might not be left in the world.
Oh my god, and Blank is still somehow alive in the back. He gets one on the sword as well. That's criminal. How does Blank stay alive there? That was Globalclan's push to win, and now Blank, he's still here. He might get onto deck. No, finally, Shamu takes down the 1 health scout and is able to avenge 2 of his fallen teammates, but the scouts there, Blank and Banny, absolutely salvaging that for their team, able to stay alive, but they might have been off a little bit more thinking. Shamu is just running in so deep, he doesn't even care. Getting onto Habib. Habib gets 2 with 1 pipe, but he does go down. Hubert very weak, and the sellout not working this time for Globalclan. Froyotech able to keep their medic up and alive, and they're going to have the players to push in onto mid.
Yeah, they got a little over aggro there, but Shamu and Dank were 2v4, played like they were 6v4, and somehow the 2 of them managed to chase the entirety of Froyo back long enough for them to hold this midpoint. Uber's gonna get traded out right now, way more scattered on the side of Globalclan, but Soar picks up a kill onto Blank. Hubert's only at half, and Shamu in the backline getting onto the med. Hubert dancing for his life will go down right as that pipe connects onto Shamu. Kills being traded. Dank gets in on the fragging of his own, picks up a kill onto Banny. The Beeb not gonna find anything onto Dank. That is a wipe for Froyo wipes. Globalclan gonna pull out the wipe onto Froyo and cap up second.
Yeah, that was just incredible amounts of chaos, but just that one opening pick from Blank just kind of allowed it to eventually go in Globalclan's favor. Now, once again, it's going to be Froyotech on the ropes on their last. They're at pretty sizable Uber disadvantage. They've got Banny up on the sentry gun, Blank up on heavy, so they're trying to get all their best defensive, players out there on the field. With Globalclan, are they going to make the same mistake as last time? I think they are going to go in with this, but last time they really didn't get the picks, nor were they able to play the point. Now they are going to go, and they get juggled a little bit, and a lot, actually. I don't know why Dingo wasn't there immediately with the Uber, but they do now finally take down the Central Gun. They haven't gotten anything else with this Uber, and because of it, they're just going to have to back up.
I mean, what can I say? The Highlander classes are just too powerful. On the side of Froyotech, the entire Uber goes in just to get a sentry gun, which is we saw before. You know, it feels like Globalclan's really not using that Uber to its maximum extent. Quack jumping in, gonna help trade out onto the team with the help of the bleed. They're coming in, Taz getting in deep, causing a lot of damage, but not finding any kill. Uber forced out from Hubert. He's alone here. Blank gonna meet up with him and start chasing out Shamu. So, you know, not a pretty good kind of salvage there from Globalclan to get the Uber out. You know, stall this, wait for this moment to come back up. And now Blank and Laz both getting over aggressive, coming in. Patty's gonna be next. Gets the kill onto Dingo, but that's gonna be it. They still have second. Freya's looking 3 down. I'm interested to see how aggressive we see Globalclan get here.
I think they should try and go in here. There's no demo, there's no soldiers. Now finally Habib is back up, but they're already in. Habib once again launched sky high as the Ubers come out. Hubert nowhere near close, does manage to find the respawn. The Uber cap is already coming in on the point. Froyotech immediately mulch onto it. Can they defend it? So much damage, and I think they have been able to do so. It's only going to be Dank and Dingo, but they're disconnected. Banny is on the chase, should be able to get this medic kick, and is going to be able to send him down to a grave. But Dingo manages to get out. That was a great opportunity for Globalclan, but just Froyotech with that committal onto the point, able to hold on just a little bit longer.
Yeah, that that looked really good, but they just weren't able to finish off any of the kills. A lot of damage being spread out on a lot of people. Froyo able to kite that back into spawn, hit their reset binds, come out on the other side, and collapse in on that point. Not enough players left on the side of Globalclan to, kind of counter collapse there. And Froyo now, with only a minute 20 left on the map timer, are starting to storm back in. If you're Globalclan at this point, I think you got to give up on taking that round here and just hope, that you're able to stall out Froyo until the half.
Yeah, you got to be very, very concerned if you're Globalclan, because Froyotech could win right here, but probably not with Hubert being forced to an excellent bomb from Taz. But still, it's very, very scary if you're Globalclan, because even though there's only 50 seconds left and you're on your last, the main worry right there was Froyotech. They had Uber advantage. There's maybe a world where they time their push in just the right way, where it goes into continuous overtime. Froyotech only has one more round, and then they cap the point, and then they win the game. So Globalclan, they've kind of averted that world for the meantime, but they've still got a lot of work to do if they want to try and come in to win this match. They are going to use Uber all the way in, but Froyotech, they're not out just quite yet. Habib is still standing around with Bainey. That famous Froyotech combo is going to be able to take down the enemy demo. Quacks bombing in, taking a lot of damage onto Hubert, but Froyotech just managing to keep their medic alive. But finally, Sword with the pistol is able to do it, but there's a player behind flank, heads onto the enemy medic, and that is Froyotech going to get this round, unless they somehow beat this.
Yep, looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Round comes in, and that's going to be the 4-1 for Froyo here.
Yep, 4-1, really great stuff from Froyotech, and with that being said, Globalclan, they had a lot of fight in them. They had a lot of great opportunities throughout this match. But just, Froyotech, it's kind of like you said at the beginning, you don't need to know too much about TF2 or 6s. It's just kind of the pedigree of the name. You see Froyotech, you bet on Froyotech, you're winning 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, truthfully, I was actually looking at the team pages while we were getting ready, and I was pretty surprised to see Froyo having had an L this season. Not the most common of occurrences, but as you said, you're getting 9 times out of 10 at least, if you're betting on Froyo. And, in this case, like to think I took the easy bet.
Well, it pays out, so I can't blame you or anyone else who bet on Froyotech and, with the RGL match points at all for going for it. There's a reason they've been on top for so long. But on the other side of things, Globalclan, I think they had a really good game, honestly, considering that they've had a bit of a roster shakeup. The first match of the season, they had a completely different pocket scout. They had Perfection instead of Shamu, and now Shamu's come in maybe week 2. And then I don't know if Dingo is going to be their main demo man from here on out. They did have Kira previously. Kira, I think is a Highlander demo,
Indeed.
So very, very experienced. But I think their first season in 6's invite. So Dingo coming in is obviously a lot more experienced, but still new. So if it is going to be a thing for the whole season, they might have, a few teething issues to work through, and maybe it's a land thing as well, because this is a land season, and if Globalclan do make it, I assume Kira can go, but maybe they can't, so maybe that's why they've got Dingo instead, or maybe this is just a substitute thing, who knows. But otherwise, I think Globalclan did very well considering, still early on, and they can still try and make a comeback to make it to land.
Yeah, and if you're Globalclan, I think this one stings a little bit, because there's a sense of freedom, right, in playing a team that's better than you and just getting, utterly smashed and, you couldn't have done anything. This one, it's both a blessing and a curse that it really didn't feel like, other than maybe that first round, Froyo really, gapped Globalclan. It felt like Globalclan had plenty of advantages. They had plenty of fights. They were taking on, relatively even footing and just beating Froyotech straight up. And it felt like, there were some maybe questionable Ubers coming into last especially that I think Globalclan really would like to have back, with the knowledge of how they ended up turning out. Because if they were maybe a little bit more careful with how they use those, you might be looking at a 3-2, maybe a 3-3, maybe a 2-2 coming in, because they had the opportunities, and I just don't think they were able to capitalize on them, which while maybe frustrating in the moment, is a great sign, I think, in the long term, especially as you said, should they be able to make it to LAN and, maybe get a grudge match back in here.
Yeah, no, definitely. The fact that they had those opportunities in the first place is a good sign for Globalclan. But just quickly looking at the stats, I mean, Banny absolutely popping off, 18 and 8, 324 DPM. I mean, the man is a machine. Everyone knows that. It's been known for a while, but still, just consistent as always. Also, Dink, only 6 deaths, which I think is pretty impressive considering Qbert also only had 6 deaths. And I think anytime a medic has equivalent deaths to the enemy team's medic that won, especially when it's kind of a big score gap like 4-1, I think that shows that they played pretty well and were pretty on their job for the most part. So definitely shoutouts to Dank and Banny, I think, for having good individual games. But I think as we start to wind down here now, any shoutouts you'd like to give, Alto?
Shoutouts to you, TC, just for having me in here, inexperienced with the Sixes casting, so hoping I did my best, but I'll say I'm trying to warm up, so you may see me a little bit more in the coming weeks, as I will be heading out to LAN this season, finally getting to make it out, so we'll be looking forward to that, and taking a look at the logs, shout out to Laz, managing to both top kill and top death his team, which truly a man after my own heart.
Hey, that's the correct soldier theory. You go in, you get a pick, job done. You just do that.
Truly experienced more of the game than anyone else.
Yeah, that's true. No, yeah, definitely shoutouts to Laz, amazing soldier player. But I think my shoutouts, I'm gonna mirror yours a little bit. Shoutouts to you, Alto. I think this is the first time I've been able to cast.
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, but I think you're an amazing caster, so definitely happy to been able to do that, and I'm excited to see you at LAN. I'm not going to be there, but just see you cast at LAN, I think is going to be really, really fun. And shout outs to obviously Dolphin and to the RGL merch, because speaking of LAN, buying that helps out all the kind of things that go on at LAN, all the costs and everything like that. And no better way to show up to LAN than with, some TF2 drip, some RGL merch. So definitely buy it, wear it. It's seasonal as well. So it's always great. And I guess final shout out to you guys in chat, the teams for playing. And I think that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back probably tomorrow night or Thursday with some more TF2 action. Same time, same place. But until then, hope you have a good night.